Hello, my gorgeous light beings. Today we are going to talk about wood green because I had a gorgeous prediction and dream around the future of wood green. Now, wood green is a place located in Haringey in London, North London specifically. N22 baby, born and raised. What it do? Yes. So I thought it was nice to share. Not everyone's going to find benefit in this content, but if you are from Wood Green or are intrigued in the, let's say, the gentrification of our local communities across London from borough to borough, then I guess it would be nice to tap into the evolution of the community, you know? So if you are from North London and Wood Green and you go there quite often, then let's dig in. I no longer live in that area. I'm an East Londoner now, and I love Stratford and Westfields and that whole kind of climate. I mean, when I look at Wood Green now, I'm a bit like, oh, it's a little bit run down. It is struggling. The level of violence and crime in the local community in Haringey isn't really good, and it has been increasing over years. If you are aware of Wood Green, specifically what the kids will call tops, which would be located outside of Wood Green Station, where you have the cinema, and you also have Morrison's and the Weatherspoons and Sam's 99 and Nando's also underneath that little peninsula, if we want to refer to it like that, as the Americans would. Then the vision that I got was the fact that there is going to be a massive effort to regentrify Wood Green, and that is going to take the shape of really transforming the station into something absolutely stunning. So the visions in my head that I received were quite similar to Houston Station, maybe a little bit of Liverpool Street, a little bit of Waterloo, where the station, a Charing Cross, where you have loads of different access points, more than one exit out of the station, and there's so much more stuff going on that you could access. So what the vision in my head I received was, you see where this cinema is right now, which currently doesn't have the best reputation because there has been a lot of violence that's happened around the cinema. There was actually shootings at the cinema, and a gorgeous young boy lost his life very publicly. That was also filmed on Snapchat and Instagram, and that was actually a drive-by shooting in Wood Green. That was really a real shame for the community, you know. Sending out my condolences to anyone that suffered from that loss, and to anyone who has also suffered from gun crime and postcode wars and gang culture within London and in the community, because it is a real thing. And although we really don't talk about it enough, it's a shame that in 2022, 2023, that there is such crime still going on and people not being prosecuted for their crimes. I mean, and the fact that there is the confidence in culture to get on a motorbike and drive up onto the pavement and just start firing shots off at a cinema in the local community is a concern, you know. And as Brits, we do want to look at these things and be aware that although we do not have the right to bear arms in the United Kingdom, it is a shame that there are these things still going on. So I do feel like it's really important for the borough of Haringey to restore faith in the community by making some serious moves and efforts. And Wood Green is a key area within Haringey, and there is so much to offer. We've got Primark. We don't have a Starbucks. I mean, that's a real shame. It really suggests that we're poor in Haringey, because getting a Starbucks in Haringey is so, like, it's offensive. It's like, bitch, I just want a fucking coffee from Starbucks, and you can't provide me with that in Wood Green. So I have to settle for Costa. Fuck's sake, what a life. What a fucking life, right? But we still do have the mall. I don't know how much efforts there are going to be to regentrify that, and I know a lot of shops along the high street in Wood Green have kind of been transformed into kind of market spaces. Now, we'll talk a little bit about retail as well here, because I do have a retail prediction out talking about the future of retail, and growing up in Wood Green, it's given me a lot of insight into what that looks like and how we've evolved as a community and humanity, really, in regards to materialism and capitalism. So let's look at that. Let's look at the the fact really quickly that Marks and Spencer's, that was a key spot, and BHS, that was also a key spot within the community, they were not surviving financially and they had to close. And as a result, those large scale stores now are kind of walking places where people just rent it out, and you've got everyone pitching and selling their own stuff in a little quarter of the store, so everyone's splitting the rent across the store. And they're selling furniture, they're selling fashion, and every kind of 3 months, if that, the whole shop is having a closing down sale. The community is becoming a real somewhat derelict kind of shop fronts, really low key move to derelict communities, whereby they can't keep up with the rent long term, but they'll rent it out for a 3-month period, get loads of different suppliers in, sell it, and then all the banners outside along the windows, closing down, we're closing down, we're closing down. And you're like, but you've been saying you're closing down repeatedly. And they will continue to say that because they know they're only gonna keep the rent going at this location until they can't make ends meet anymore. Then they move on and get another place. I like the community that's doing that. It seems to be quite people coming over from I want to say migrant kind of countries more so, or it's not kind of the community that you would be used to. And I don't want to be stereotypical or offend any race as I do this, but when we look at culture, we look at the Indians that came over to the United Kingdom, and then we have a lot of Indian kind of cultures. If you go to packs or hair shops, they're run by Indians. You go to the Chinese have come through a little bit more with Chinese takeaways, and a little bit more Thai and Vietnamese food as well. That's kind of increased a little bit in the community. But when we have a lot of Eastern Europeans coming over and filling the market for those kind of bulk kind of poundland kind of shops, and even the furniture shops where it's like we're going to get a bulk of resources and then just sell it off here, and we'll get some rent going. And it's a nice economy. It's going to happen a lot more. There's going to be a lot more like hypermarkets and hyper spaces that you rent for a period of time, because the cost of living obviously is a massive problem at this time, and we just got to do what the fuck we can do. But the really juicy thing that I want to share with you is what I've seen for the future. So anyone who is a woodgreen nerd knows about tops and stuff like that. It will be so cool for you to know what's going on. I feel like there is going to be petitions coming out soon whereby the local community within woodgreen specifically will have to sign a petition if they would like to see the community regenerated in this way. This did happen maybe about 20 years ago. In order for us to have tops where we have it now in the big cinema in Hollywood Green, that was a massive effort. 20 years ago, a lot of money was put into that, and that improved the economy for us. That made Wood Green a real hot spot for the evenings, drinks, Weatherspoons, the pub across the road, Goose, the Sainsbury's that exists underneath there, the Nando's that everyone loves to go to, and Morrison's has held it together since they took over from Safeway, so that's also really quite nice. But what I see here is, and this is exciting for me, right? I haven't been to Wood Green in like a year, but God, when you do all this up, guys, I'll come back and support the community. I tell you, I will. So we have one exit at Wood Green Station, one entrance and one exit. What I've been shown is where Goose is and where Morrison's is. I believe there's going to be an entrance from Wood Green Station that will take you straight into the Morrison's across the road. I can't guarantee that Morrison's is still going to be Morrison's at that time. I haven't worked out exactly the financial standard of Morrison's and how well they're going to be able to sustain themselves within this economy. And there's always takeovers and mergers and someone buying someone out, but there is going to be a gorgeous way from where the station has undergrounds that can take you straight into Morrison's as an exit and an entrance, so you can get into the underground through Morrison's. And also where Hollywood Bowl is now, View Cinema, I believe that's going to be gone, and that's actually going to be an entrance in and out of the station. And I believe we're going to have international or overground rails. But do you know what? I want to say DLR, but I don't know if it's specifically going to be DLR, because we do have the Queen Elizabeth line and those kind of newer lines that have come in, and I know there's going to be some way, a bit more of a connected nature to bring people together. Also where the Weatherspoons is and the Nando's, that's all going to be regentrified. I think they may all go. They can petition to whether or not they'll stay during the regentrification, but I believe that whole strip, what we would call Tops in my young days, when you was coming back from school and you're like, I'm going to Tops to chill with the man them and the gal them, everyone's at Tops, it's popping off. Sorry guys, if you don't get it, you don't get it. But wood green culture is a thing. So but that's all going to be totally transformed, and it's going to be like you were walking through Charing Cross somewhat, or Waterloo, or Euston Station. And I like to think that we're going to be able to afford a Starbucks franchise over here. Someone sort some Starbucks out so I can feel like we're doing something in haringey, fuck me. So I mean, just imagine, we've got the big bus station that's also going to be totally kind of removed. I feel like where the cinema currently is now, they're going to make a segue. So because the bus station exists behind Wetherspoons, right next to Mecca Bingo. I also think the Mecca Bingo might go, and then we can actually merge the whole top section where Mecca Bingo is and where Hollywood Bowl is, and all the shops that exist underneath it, or sorry, Hollywood Green. It's going to be merged into a massive international somewhat station where we can all kind of travel through it, but there's massive shops. So it's more like, you see, we're moving away from the malls. We've been trying to get away from the malls for a long time. Stratford is a great example of that, because you've got Westfield, massive shopping centre, and across the road you've still got Stratford Mall, and they're doing all right. I mean, sometimes you go to Stratford Mall for very specific things, and it is still a culture for a certain age that has grown up with having that kind of mall there in Stratford. But I mean, it's getting to the point where a lot of that will be abolished, and we're going to find ways to segue between Poundlands and pound shops and the cheaper alternatives like Lidl that you're not going to find Lidl in Westfield, are you really? In like the economic structure and the pay difference is why we have the Stratford there, the Stratford Mall there, and then the Westfield there. So I do feel like there is going to be somewhat of a Westfield. I don't think it's going to be called Westfield. I'm not sure who's actually going to buy the franchise, but it is going to be a international somewhat station where you can come in and travel, where it is going to have overground links internationally, maybe even going out towards Bedford, those kind of trains coming in. I feel like that's going to take over the whole Mecca Bingo space that is just behind Wood Green, and then the station's going to lead on. So there's going to be a way to come out from the station at Hollywood Green, where the cinema entrance would be, and then that will also take you into what would be like a massive Westfield somewhat mall. Definitely not the mall, because we've got the mall down the road, but that's just not self-sustaining long term. That's going to probably turn into somewhat of a hypermarket, and there is a lot of potential for gaming and VR spaces in that area as well. A lot of these malls will become functional multi-purpose venues where you just rent out the space and do different kind of stuff, because that seems to be the most sustainable thing at this time for our economy. But it's really exciting to think that we are moving forward futuristically, and I've grown up in Wood Green, and I've seen the first gentrification efforts, and how amazing because we also had Shout. We had a club called Shout in Wood Green for a while, something called Chicago, I think, as well. Lots of fun stuff, but it is really run down now, and we do really want to improve the community a little bit more. And I just do hope that the borough financially do have enough money to really invest in that, and the community agree to it, because we're going to have so much more international links. It's going to improve the community within Wood Green. I like to think that the level of traffic and people coming to Wood Green for the shopping experience will reduce the likelihood of postcode wars and drive-by shootings and violence and stabbings that would often take place at that location. I mean, we did have police boxes and police just on standby for a long period of time, just at Tops, to analyse and monitor what was going on, because of specifically school kids and after school periods of time where the violence was most high, and it was like a hot spot for kind of beef and war and drama and stuff. So it's really cool to think that the Stratford Westfield experience is going to be coming to Wood Green, and it's exciting. And I haven't been to Wood Green for a year or more, because I haven't had no need to go there. But guys, I know it's going to take you probably a decade to get this re-gentrification pushed through the government and get the local community to sign on and agree to it, but I'll be back then in a decade to come and shop in Wood Green at Wood Green Westfields, and it's going to have so much stuff inside. I'm calling it Wood Green Westfields, but I don't know what else to call it. But it's like going to Charing Cross, and there's so many ins, and there's so many outs, and there's so many shops and so many eateries, and a really nice functional train line as well that takes you out further than Wood Green has ever taken you out, because Wood Green currently is just the Piccadilly line. I mean, it does take us all the way to Heathrow. Fucking hell, give us that. But beyond that, we're at a bit of a limit. So if you're a Wood Greener, it's coming, baby. keep your nose to the street, listen to your community, get involved in what's going on in your local area. And if there is a chance for you to attend a committee meeting and have a little conversation about what you want your community to look like, do that. Especially if you don't live in that borough. What's going on in your borough? I'm sure there's gorgeous stuff going down, and if I do get any intel about what's going down in any other boroughs, I will address it. But the downloads about Wood Green were just kind of really close to my heart and really loving, because I think it's time we have a shift. And the reminiscence of what's happened at Wood Green over the years, and the shooting at Wood Green, it's just doesn't give me nice memories, and it doesn't make me want to go there, and it doesn't fill my heart with ease. It genuinely makes me really, really sad. And I can only pray that we can cleanse the whole space and find a way to heal as a collective and to reduce crime in the community, you know. So yeah, Wood Green is on the come up, and I'm not going to agree to it and approve it until Starbucks is right at centre stage. Like when I come out of Stratford Station and I walk into Westfield and Starbucks is right there and I can grab it before I even start my shop. If you're not providing me with that luxury, then fuck it. What's the point? All right. I want to come out of the station and I want to see M&S and I want to see Starbucks, and then we can talk. Maybe a bit of Lush. You know, I love a little bit of Lush. Love a little bit of Ann Summers as well. But I mean, we can go all day. There's so much beautiful stuff in Westfield, and I think they're a great example of really gentrifying the community. Although I do want to do some background on Stratford. I want to understand how the mall's doing, what the kind of retail experience is there in regards to rent rates, and just how we're doing as a community, because I know that if I need to get something quickly and I'm on a real budget, then I'm going to go to Stratford Mall, and I'm not even going to step into Westfield for a Starbucks or a good old treat at M&S, because what's the point? You know, let's just be wise. And unless I'm going to Tortilla, because that's also one of my favourite, or Neal's Yard. Okay, I always talk about these things. Neal's Yard, Disney, Lush, and Summers is just my key points that I need to pop off to, because I love food. So M&S, I need to go in there and get my hot cross buns and my fresh deli salad and stuff like that. And if it is lunchtime and you've got the salad bar open, then I will be there. And then also I need tortilla, because I love Mexican, and I'm just going to get myself a large beef burrito, even though I don't eat red meat. But we break the rules for tortilla because we're scum. Because we're scumbags and we have no composure. Okay, I'm just ranting now, but I just wanted to share that, and I hope that this finds someone who is intrigued about the future of Wood Green, just as much as I am. Love and light, gorgeous beings. If you want to know more, hit me in the comments. Feel free to check out the website and all the other content. Loads of predictions are out. And yeah, love and light.